Imagine getting a letter from your grandfather 100 years after it was first mailed. That letter, penned by a soldier in Belfast, mailed home to a small town in South Georgia, and just days ago mailed again to a man in Crawfordville. That letter dating back to World War I.
It is now back in the hands of the Wetheringtons thanks to a sharp-eyed landfill worker and his internet search-savvy son.
Dear Father, I will drop you a few lines. I am in the hospital now. I think I'll soon be all right. Hope so anyway.
Larry Wetherington reading that letter aloud nearly 100 years after it was written by his grandfather.
There isn't anything the matter with me but a real bad cold.
Charles Ang Wetherington, then a 25-year-old infantryman, penning that letter as he lay in a hospital bed.
So goodbye, your loving son, Charles Ang Wetherington.
The envelope postmarked Belfast, 1918. But Larry Wetherington just got it in the mail.
I was contacted through Facebook Messenger asking me if I would like to have the letter that was written by my grandfather. We were very surprised to hear of this.
The story behind it all, even more surprising.
I was excited.
Julian Robert Vickers lives 100 miles away in the small town of Adel, Georgia. He's retired now, but he used to drive a compactor at the local landfill. And it was there, in the driver's seat, that something caught his eye.
It looked kind of old. I said, well, wait a minute.
A box filled with old newspapers.
I picked it up and looked at it, and then I saw the letter. And it appeared to be very old. And when I looked at it and figured out the date and all on it, I said, I got excited then, you know, because I love history.
The letter's been in his cedar chest for decades, until recently, when he asked his son to try to find the soldier's family. Daryl Vickers loves genealogy.
I can sit there and spend hours and hours.
With just a name and address, he started tracing the Wetheringtons' family tree. Finding the soldier's grandson took just a few weeks.
So I ended up sending the letter to him. So that's where it belonged. Kind of amazing, you know, that now he's got a piece of his history that he didn't have before.
I bet you he jumped 10 feet in the air. I would have.
It turns out this letter was written just days after a harrowing shipwreck. These pictures from the Library of Congress show the planks of the Otranto dashed upon Scotland's rocky coast. More than 300 U.S. soldiers died that day. Charles Ang Wetherington wasn't suffering from a bad cold, as he suggested in his letter. He had literally jumped from a sinking ship, breaking his leg and crushing his ankle.
When I was a small child, I do remember my grandfather walking with a limp. It was an injury that stayed with him a lifetime.
Now, Wetherington's letter and legacy safely in the hands of his grandson. Home, finally, after a journey that spanned an ocean, a landfill, and 100 years.
I would like for Mr. Vickers and his family to know that we're very grateful, because it's not only a historical find, we're hoping that this will be a family treasure that could be handed down from generation to generation.
And can you even imagine the journey that letter has taken? And it's just incredible because the paper is kind of brown and brittle, and you hold that, but then you think about it was modern technology, the internet and social media and the genealogy sites that, you know, really allowed this delivery to happen.
Man, I'll tell you what, and just the path it took to finally get to where it was supposed to, and just seeing it in the landfill. I mean, all of that coming together, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Right?
I think everyone I talked to in this story, that was the conclusion. This was meant to happen, and it's a treasure
I
for
had
the
chills
Wetheringtons.
like 4 or 5 times in that story just hearing all that.
Incredible, right?
Great story. Wow.